Hey, it's Eric with Hague Quality Water doing an explanation video on this whole house nano filtration system for our client. So this system here is plumbed with a three-way bypass down here. This bypass valve should be off unless for some reason there's no water coming to the house, in which case this valve gets open and that puts raw water from the well into the house. There's a bypass here for the supply line. And this is a shut-off valve for the product water going into the house. This system is equipped with a flow leak detector and water tracking system that goes to a smartphone applet. That if there was a leak, for some reason, it would shut the water off to the house to prevent damage and notify people of their water usage and any sort of leak issues. This is a 1 cubic foot carbon filter. This is following up a chlorinator at the bottom of the well that filters the chlorine and chemicals out of the water. And then it goes to this hose bib, which is where we would verify that yes, there's no chlorine present in the water. The RO system has a 20-inch Big Blue pre-filter. That is a carbon filter that also filters out sediment. And that filter is monitored on these two gauges. So we're monitoring the inlet pressure versus the outlet pressure. If it drops more than 20 psi, the filter is clogged and will need to be replaced. The system controller has built into it low pressure shutdown, that if there was too much pressure drop across there under 30 psi, the whole system will shut itself down to protect the pump from burning itself up. As the water processes through this system, it's using a membrane. This is a nano filtration membrane. It's going to reject the calcium, silica, total dissolved solids from the water. It's taking it from 540 parts per million down to 41 parts per million. The system runs at 100 psi, and the flow rate here is showing the product to wastewater ratio. We've got the product water at almost 2 gallons per minute, and the wastewater a little under 1 gallon per minute. The system itself has a soda ash injection system that comes after the purification, which will raise the TDS of the product water, raise the pH of the product water, and we have an adjustment here that can fine-tune the feel of the water to our client's preference. So some people like the soft water feeling, other people don't like it as much. In this case, we've got 2 lines going out. The bottom line here is the wastewater from the RO, and that's going to go to irrigation on the property. The top line there is RO product water, which you could use for washing your car or windows. This hose bib here is raw, untreated, or I should say chlorinated well water. This is the storage tank for the RO system. As the water comes out of the RO system, it comes out that black tube and goes up into this tank. There's a float switch that talks to the RO so that when this tank is full, it shuts the RO off. Now this tank in this case is 500 gallons. It could be 5,000 gallons. It works the same way. The water comes out of this tank through that stainless steel hose back into the garage, and that's then being fed to a booster pump that repressurizes that water for the house. This booster pump has a touchscreen control on it. Right now it is showing flow, and it can be adjusted up or down to increase the pressure of the product water to the house. So if you got a 2-story house, you want to increase the pressure quite a bit. If it's a 1-story house, then generally the factory default settings are fine. So a little bit closer on these gauges here. So the system pressure should be about 100 psi, which it is, and the wastewater ratio to feed water ratio, ideally we're hitting somewhere between 70-30 or 50-50. So if I am to open up this waste valve here, you can watch, now we're increasing the waste flow, And now we're about right at what we call 50% recovery. So it's roughly a 1-to-1 ratio. So for every gallon of water you produce, a gallon of water is going to go out of this thing. And generally we recommend that that gets reused for irrigation. In its highest efficiency, we can drop this down to 30% waste to 70% product water, which would be somewhere around here. As we set that lower and we make more product water than we do wastewater, it shortens the life of the membrane as well. So those are the considerations when we're sizing these. But based on the water quality, generally 50-50 or 70-30, depending on what the water is going to be reused for. If you have any questions on whole house RO systems, contact Hay Quality Water, slowwater.com.